Hello my beautiful friends, my name is Alexandria and welcome to my channel. So today I am going to be filming my TBR for the month of July. We are a little bit late. I have refilmed this video I don't even know how many times, but third, fourth, fifth time's the charm. So I am going to be sharing all of the books that I am going to be trying to read this month and books that I just have on my radar for this upcoming month. So if you would like to see all of the books that I plan on reading or trying to read, then just keep on watching. So I have my stack behind me if you can see it. And these are mainly library books that I picked up. So for last month, I kind of combined like a little bit of a library haul with my TBR. And that's kind of gonna be what I'm doing today. I am mainly going to be focusing on the physical books that I have. So all of the library books that I have, and then some of the books that I'm taking off my shelf that I am planning on reading this month. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and add this into this video because I did have this on my TBR, but we're about almost 10 days into the month. And so I've already finished it. I'm feeling a little bit slumpy lately, so I haven't been reading as much as I would have liked to have been reading, but hopefully that will change in the next few days / weeks or so. I actually had this on my TBR for last month, but I didn't finish it until this month. And this is Legendborn. So I'll talk about it in my July wrap-up video. But I did finally finish Legendborn. Finally, it's been on my TBR for I don't even know how long. And so yeah, I'm very, very happy that I finally got to get to this. This is a YA kind of fantasy, I guess, focusing on our main character whose name is Bree. Her mother has died and she ends up being a part of this program at this college and starts finding out some things are a little bit off. There are some maybe magical things going on. And she basically starts thinking that maybe her mom's death wasn't an accident and also maybe there was some magic involved. She finds out about this secret society that's kind of the descendants of King Arthur, and so she kind of goes on this journey of trying to figure out what happened to her mom and trying to figure out what's going on with this secret society, also navigating grief and traumatic events that have happened throughout her life and also her ancestors' lives. I said that I wasn't going to talk about this that much. I'll save it for my wrap-up video, but yeah, read this. That's all I'm gonna say. So I have this book, as you can see, I have my bookmark in it. If you don't know about these bookmarks, they are from the seasonal pages, and I always have the link with my coupon code down below if you want to check them out. They're really, really beautiful. So I highly suggest checking them out if you haven't already. They're so helpful since I've been reading more physical books, since I've been going to the library more often. But currently I am reading People We Meet on Vacation by Emily. Why is the name covered in literally every spot on this book? Who is this? Is this Emily Henry? Yeah. Okay, so this is People We Meet on Vacation by Emily Henry. This is also the author that wrote Beach Read, I believe, which was kind of a cult classic, cult favorite to last summer. So I feel like she just kind of does the really good summer reads. I have not read Beach Read, but I heard a lot of really good things about this, and I am really itching to get to the beach. And from what I'm getting so far, I'm about 10 chapters in, but we're just describing a lot of different vacations that this girl named Poppy and her best friend Alex go on, and they've kind of had a falling out, and we don't really know why yet, so we're kind of figuring that out as we go along. I'm very, very interested to see where this goes. This is an adult romance, so I'm assuming that this is going to turn into like friends to lovers. So yeah, I love romance. I think this is the perfect kind of romance to be reading this time of year, and since I can't go to the beach, I am living vicariously through these characters. And then I am continuing my walk of shame with On Earth We're Briefly Gorgeous. So I did not end up getting to this last month. I read another book that I wasn't expecting to be so heavy. I thought that it was going to be a lighter read, but it actually brought up a lot of things for me, and so I didn't want to get right into another heavy read right after it, so I didn't end up finishing this month. But I do plan on getting to it this month. It is next on my list of priorities. I'm definitely going to read this after I read People We Meet on Vacation. I'm going to listen to this on audiobook as well as reading it at the same time. I really like books where they speak in a different language, or they use more lyrical type of writing, or something that's just a little bit more in depth for me to listen to them on audiobook. And I discovered the amazingness of listening to an audiobook while reading a book. I just process things so much better when I read that way, and so I'm excited to do that. And also, I believe the author narrates the audiobook, and I really enjoy that as well. So I'm excited to get to this. We have The Phantom of the Opera by Gaston Leroux, and I have been wanting to read this for a while. One of my goals for this year has been to read more classics. I have not read too many classics this year, but hopefully in the last half of this year, I feel like that'll change, because I do feel more motivated to read more classics during the later half of the years when it's a little bit colder. I want to read more like cozy gothic classic literature, and I figured this would be a good start. I have loved The Phantom of the Opera for as long as I can remember. I know the entire movie soundtrack. I love the play. I love the movie. So I will be listening to the soundtrack while listening to this on audiobook and also reading it at the same time, because I am extra. Alright, so the next book that I have is a book that came from last month as well. I read all queer books last month, mostly queer books, the majority queer books. And I had ordered this from my library, but it didn't become available until like the end of the month. So I just went ahead and threw this on my TBR for this month. This is The Stars and the Blackness Between Them. I believe this is like a YA contemporary following two girls. I think there is one of them that has a chronic illness, if I'm remembering correctly. I'm not positive, but I don't want to know too much about it before getting into it, but the cover is beautiful. We love to see it. All right, the next book that I picked up was definitely on a whim. I've been kind of reading through these books, kind of sort of with my child, but also not really, kind of just reading them on my own. This is the same author that wrote The Tea Dragon Society and The Tea Dragon Festival, I believe. And this is called Aquacorn Cove. I could not resist getting this because it's absolutely beautiful. I love the colors. The artwork just makes me so happy inside, brings me so much joy. And so I will probably, if not read this by myself, I'll be reading this with my child. So the next book that I have is Naamah, which is by Sarah Blake. This is kind of a biblical retelling, reimagining of the wife of Noah, who is not named in the Bible. So it's like a biblical sapphic retelling of Noah's wife, and that just sounds super interesting, like a biblical queer retelling. Just sounds so wrong, but also so right at the same time. I grew up in the church. I think it would be interesting to read this rendition of Noah's Ark from his wife's perspective, because I'm sure she would have had a lot of things to say and think, despite the fact that it probably wouldn't have been vocalized or recorded. The next book that I have is one that I am so stoked to read. I read the first one of this duology last month, and this is Darius the Great Deserves Better. I love Darius. He's just a wonderful human, and I'm so excited to see where he goes in his life. And I think there's a little bit of like a kind of love triangle, but I don't want to call it a love triangle because it seems like it's just him torn between two boys. Not that they're actually like in a triangle love connection. What am I trying to say? I don't know. So last month I also read my first Okweke and Mezzy book. Again, I'll talk about that in my wrap-up video. But it whet my appetite and made me so stoked to read more by Okweke and Mezzy. They are just unlike any author that I've probably ever read before. I think I may have to remake my mid-year freakout tag because I read so many good books by so many good authors last month. I decided to go ahead and pick up The Death of Vivek OG. I've heard so many incredible things about this book. I've heard that it's very heavy. It does deal with the death of a trans character, I believe, and kind of their family's grief and process of dealing with all of that, I'm assuming, and figuring out what exactly happened. But I am really, really looking forward to reading more by Aquicorn and Mezzy because they just have such a unique perspective that I have not read anything like before. I would love to be able to listen to the audiobook if I can. I listened to Freshwater by Aquicorn and Mezzy on audiobook, and they were also the narrator for that book, and it was wonderful. So if I can find it in that form again, that would be awesome. But I'll just read this in general, no matter what way I have to read it. And then these two, I'll just go ahead and throw together because they're by the same author. I also read my first River Solomon book last month, and wow, it was wild. Sorrowland was absolutely wild. And so, again, I had to get some more by this author because I can't stop, won't stop. And so I picked up An Unkindness of Ghosts. I'm not really sure what this one's about. I think this one's about an asexual, non-binary main character. I'm not positive, so don't quote me on that. But I just heard really good things about it, so I'm gonna definitely read that one. And then also The Deep by River Solomon. So, water-dwelling descendants of pregnant African slave women thrown overboard by slavers. Sounds like a lot, sounds like a really, really deep, for lack of a better term, unique, just one-of-a-kind perspective. And after reading Sorrowland, I just need to read more from this author because I feel like they're opening up my mind in so many ways that my mind is not necessarily capable of doing on its own. Really, really looking forward to getting to these two books. And then last but not least, I also have another Seasonal Pages bookmark in this one because I did start this. I think I got past the introduction. I don't think I'm even in the first chapter, but this is called Watch Over Me by Nina LaCour. I believe this is following a character who has aged out of the foster system and ends up working at this farm or something where they take care of foster children or they adopt foster children. And she finds out that everybody has a ghost, literally. And I haven't heard too many people talk about this, but the people that I have heard talk about it, I really trust their opinion, and they've just raved about it. So I am definitely going to be getting to this one this month, and seems like most of the books that I got are going to be quick reads, so that is going to be a good thing for me. So I do have a few books that I have held through Libby on my library app that I read on ebook or listen to an audiobook. But I'm not going to talk about those because those are kind of more up in the air whether I'm going to read them or not. These are definitely the ones that I'm going to read. There's a readathon that I was thinking about participating in, but I'm not going to say that I'm going to participate in it because I kind of want to just let myself do what I want to do. And if I do end up getting to it, I would like to film a vlog for it as well. So if I do end up doing that readathon, you will see a vlog. And of course, I'll share with you my TBR for that. But anyway, I hope you all enjoyed this video. Let me know any of the books that you are reading down below. If you're reading anything fun this month, leave it down below and we can chat about it. And yeah, I hope you're doing well. I hope you're staying safe, and I hope you're finding joy in whatever way it is that you can. I love you.